Okay, so in this video we're going to have a look at some of the equipment that I take onto the aeroplane. Just makes my flight a little bit more comfortable, and if I can get to where I can go to sleep, then all's good with the world. So first thing is, we are all pretty much familiar with the idea of carry-on luggage. Yeah, this is the backpack that I usually take with me. Has all my laptop and bits and pieces in it, and 9 times out of 10 it will go up in the overhead locker above your head. So as you can see, just down below, down here, I've got my little flight bag. Just sits in between your leg. I've got my blanket, sleep pack, all that kind of stuff, and I'm good for the flight. It's basically a camera bag. This is a Lowepro Mini Magnum. I picked it up at a local charity shop and then put a heavy duty laptop strap on it. So all the stuff that I need on an aeroplane that I need with me at that very moment for the 9 hours that I'm going to be sat there goes in this little bag. Quite easily between your feet, you can slot it down the side of your seat and just works. Okay. One thing that I know about flying on aircraft is the cabin is usually absolutely baking hot or it's freezing cold. There's no in between. It's great when it's baking hot because you just uncomfortably kind of bake there. But when it's freezing cold and they've got the aircon cranked up, it's that temperature that's really quite awkward and annoying. So the first thing I want to discuss, like stuff that I take on an airplane and I take in travelling in general, is this thing around my neck. Now it's not an ornament, you'll see me wearing it often. It's a shamar. And what it is a big piece of, it's like cheesecloth. And they're found all over the Middle East. And it unpacks into a great big kind of towel. You pick them up usually in like army surplus. They're all over Amazon. You see them in kind of hippie shops, that kind of stuff. Each country in the Middle East has a different colour shamar if it's authentic, but you can honestly buy these in any colour you want, literally. There's 1,001 uses for these things. Probably do a video on that at some point. But for the purposes of this talk, is they double up as a very nice kind of emergency blanket. And it is warm, kind of good. I've used this kind of a couple of times, and you just got that kind of blankety feel. Now, if you want to go one step further to this, and again, this is when the airline doesn't provide you with blankets and pillows, is to go for one of these. This is a Snugpak jungle blanket. Pick them up off of Amazon. Comes in a very nice little duffel bag, like so, and you can carabiner it to just about everything. So when I get on an aeroplane, this will be carabinered on there, like so. Yeah, like a little bum bag kind of thing. So what it is, I've already taken it out, is, as it's described, it's a blanket. Now you've got to think of it as like a very lightweight sleeping bag. It's uber doesn't weigh anything at all, and it's quite snuggly. There's no zip on it, it's just a blanket. And what you do is you just use it as a blanket, and it's like having your own personal duvet or quilt on the aeroplane. And this doubles up as well, because those frustrating flights where you have a long layover, you might be in an airport for 6 hours connecting to your next flight, you can find a nice little corner pop this thing out, roll it out, and get into it, and you're snug as a bug in a rug. Use this a heck of a lot. Absolutely love it. So consider buying one of these. Snugpak jungle blanket or something similar. So when I get into my aircraft seat, one thing that I normally do is, and this is just a prop, the ones that I normally take on an aircraft are a lot smaller, is the hand gel, the Puri stuff. And what I will do is squirt it all around my seat, squirt it in the seat in front, and squirt that the cover that's usually on the in-flight magazines, and then give it all a good rub down. Number one, you find out how dirty these aeroplanes are, and number two, you're cutting down the risk of infection, getting a cold, that kind of thing, quite significantly. And it's always quite funny when you do this, because the passenger at the side of you starts thinking, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Oh my God, is this seat infected? But it's always good practice to do that, because you're going to be in this area for 10, 12, 18, 20 hours. The airline doesn't clean these things, they just kind of come around with a hoover and remove the trash. So you've got everybody's kind of, call it fluid, sweat, whatever, dust, all in your little seating area. So I find that this just does cut down that risk of getting sick on a plane. A little bit OCD, but works for me. Another thing that I take on an airplane is a metal cup. Why? Because when the stewardess comes around with the water or the orange juice or everything else, you give her the metal cup, comes back, you've got a bigger portion. Yeah? Airlines always giving you those tiny little plastic cups. I don't advocate that you give her this for a glass of wine, because you'll probably be met with a very deep frown, but certainly for water, fruit juices, this is a perfect thing for it. Again, you can put it into that little bag, you can pack stuff into it and bring it out when you need to. I use this a lot for water when I'm on a flight, and just makes it a little bit easier. The thing that I take, and it can double up with that cup because it's again got more than one use. Tube of toothpaste and a toothbrush. I tend to chop the toothbrush off so it's smaller, and again this is a prop, but I will narrowly take one of those small little travel tubes of toothpaste, pick them up in the dollar store. Let's get this out of the way. The travel pillow. Now personally, I don't like these. I don't understand them. I don't find them comfortable. They're designed very poorly. They don't give my neck any support whatsoever. Maybe my neck's too long, I don't know. And I guess at some point in time, when these things were invented, they was designed like neck collars, you know, like what paramedics use to disable your neck and keep it into that neutral plane. However, and you see this all the time, is people are sleeping like that. And they've got their head pushed forward, or they've got it up here. Now, when I sleep like this, I will wake up and I will have a stiff neck here. It hurts like heck, it takes ages for it to go. So again, I find these things very, very uncomfortable. You have the back piece pressing on the seat, which is pulling you forward. So you're sleeping forward like this. The thing then crimps around your neck like a claw. So one guy on the internet, he advocated that the proper way to use these is to actually put it forward like this. And there is some merit in that, I must admit, because it does keep your head forward. But you're going to need something on the back that's going to attach both ends together. Otherwise it just drops off and down you go. So I'm not sure I like these. Well, I don't like these things. I don't understand them. Don't like them. One thing I do like though are sleep masks and earbuds. Now, sleep masks is, you generally find at night time in the aircraft that the cabin lights are dimmed and they try and lull you into going to sleep. But I've had it where I haven't been lucky enough to get the window seat, I've been in the middle, and you always get that passenger that every half an hour is flipping up the blind to see what's going on outside. When you're flying across the Arctic in the summer and you got the 24-hour Arctic sun, you just get bathed in divine light and you think, oh, for God's sake, shut that bloody blind. So these things cancel out all of that. Now, the other thing to bear in mind when you are sat on an aeroplane is where on the aeroplane you're actually sat. And we'll do another video on where's the best seats on aeroplanes. But if you're in front of the wing, you're in front of the engines. And being in front of the engines is a lot less noise. If you are behind the wing, and you're obviously close to the exhaust of the two jet engines, you're going to get a lot more cabin noise. If you're at the very back of the aeroplane, you're going to get all the bangings, dingings, hummings, bashings, crashings of the cabin crew, because that's basically where they store all the food and drink and all that kind of stuff. So there are less noisy places on an aeroplane than others, but these will take out quite a lot of that noise and hopefully get you to sleep. Take my own headphones. Now, one thing while we're talking about entertainment is the airline industry have tried various different ways to entertain us on a flight. Conventionally, we've always had the TVs that come down from the centre console and everybody has to watch the same movie, which is usually some god-awful family movie with Jennifer Aniston in it or something. The airlines then tried to get modern, and a lot of airlines fitted out their aircraft with tablets. And of course on this particular airline we've got in-flight entertainment should you want it. And that was a great thing because you got access to 30 or 40 different movies. You know, the whole entertainment package was on the back of your seat and you just kind of go through it. Even the map of the aeroplane going across the globe's on there. The problem was, and I noticed this when I started flying, is you get into a seat where these things don't work. You know, they've been used and abused and all that kind of stuff. And suddenly they don't work. So you're kind of doing this with your thumb and there's nothing. The airlines don't fall over themselves to repair these. And indeed, the airline have started taking these things out because obviously there's a huge cost involved on how much repairs involved with them. So I've been on a fair few flights now, especially transatlantic flights, where you get on the aircraft and there's no entertainment whatsoever. So what the airlines do provide is either a USB or a powered socket in which you can charge your gadgets and watch films and all the rest of it. If you take an iPad or a phone on board, you can tap into the airline's apps, which contains all the films and entertainment package. But it's down to you as a traveller to take these things with you. Yeah, so you've got to find your way around that one. So thank you very much for watching. Again, if you have any comments for the stuff that you take just to make your flight a little bit more interesting, please put them in the comment box and please subscribe and see you next time. Bye.